So before we do any arithmetic with a mixed number, we should convert that mixed number into a fraction, so that then we can use everything else that we know. So here my mixed number 2 2/5. I want to know how to rewrite that mixed number as a fraction. So first of all, what should the denominator of that fraction be?
The denominator should be 5.
Yeah, we're going to keep the same denominator as the denominator of the fractional part of my mixed number. So I had 2/5 as my fractional part, so I'm going to keep the 5 as the denominator. Okay, so then what's my numerator?
You multiply the denominator by the whole number and then add the current numerator.
Yeah, so most people remember this little shortcut, right? You multiply the denominator by the whole number part that's in the front, and then we take that product and we add to it the amount of the numerator. So here, that's going to give me 2 times 5 plus 2. And according to the order of operations, what happens first there? Multiplication. 2 times 5 is going to give me 10. And then the addition happens, and 10 plus 2 gives me 12. So it's worth actually real quickly just pausing to remember why it is that this little mental shortcut actually works. What do we mean when we say 2 2/5? Like this. What we really mean is a quantity which is the result of combining together 2/5 with how much quantity? Well, with two whole numbers, right? Every mixed number has this little secret addition sign tucked inside of it, which is why it's so hard to do arithmetic with mixed numbers. It's because there's this little lurking addition happening inside there. But if I treat this 2 plus 2/5 as its own fraction addition problem, how would I add together 2 plus 2/5? We talked a little bit about this last time that we were working with fractions a month ago or so. If I want to combine together a fraction and a whole number, what do I have to do first? What should I do to this whole number? Yeah, I need to make it into a fraction, which we can do just by assigning it a denominator of 1. And now I'm back in this territory where I have a fraction addition problem to do, but my denominators are different, right? My denominators are 1 and 5. And so to actually do this problem, I need to find common denominators for 1 and 5. The only way for which to do is to multiply 1 times 5, and the common denominator I'm going to use are 5s. But my second fraction, my 2/5, already had a denominator of 5, so I don't need to change it. The fraction I do need to change is the 2 over 1. Now how do I change the 2 over 1? To make its denominator 5? Multiply by 5. So that's where the multiplying by 5 comes from. And that's where my 10 comes from. And then the 10 and the 2 added across are what account for my 12. So that's what's going on with mixed numbers, is that all of that arithmetic that we just talked about is wrapped up inside of our notation when we write 2 and 2/5 as a mixed number. But we can't get anywhere in doing any other arithmetic with mixed numbers until we convert them into a fraction. This particular fraction, 12/5, because the numerator is bigger than the denominator, is called an improper fraction, which always sounds weird. It makes it sound like there's something bad with it or wrong, right? Improper. But all it really means is that it's a fraction which represents a number that's bigger than 1, right? Because the numerator is bigger than the denominator. But then once that conversion step is done, all the rest of our work just follows through. I would find a common denominator for 5 and 12. I'm going to whiz through this one real quickly here, just so that we have the answer in our video. 5 and 12 is going to give me 60 for a common denominator. And since I multiplied the denominators, I can use the cross products for the numerators, as we did in the example up top there. So 12 and 12 are going to give me 144. And 5 and 7 from here are going to give me 35. And then 144 minus 35 is going to be 109. 109. My denominator is still 60. And we can look as much as we want to, but I think 109 doesn't have any factors in common with 60. It's not divisible by 2. It's not divisible by 3. It's not divisible by 5. it is not divisible by 7. And at that point, we're out of options because nothing else, every factor of 60 has to include some number that's at least smaller than 8. So that's it, we're done. And as far as I'm concerned in our class, we can always leave an improper fraction as it is in our answer. Okay, so don't feel pressured to reconvert that back into a mixed number when you feed it to me, unless Alex specifically asks you to do so, but I don't think it ever does. And if it does and you don't want to, let me know, and I'll tell Alex to stop it if I can. Certainly on exams or quizzes or anything else that we do, feel free to leave your answers as improper fractions when they come out that way.